All right, everyone. So, welcome to the podcast. Today, I have George Blum returning back onto the podcast. George Blum, he is a top sales representative, a top real estate agent from Jacksonville, Florida. Most recently, awarded the Triple Gold Award by his company, Keller Williams. George has helped me on quite a few projects down in the Florida area. So, George, welcome back to the podcast.
Appreciate it, Bobby. Thanks for having me back on, man. Always good to be here.
Absolutely, George. So, one of the first questions, one of the first things that I like to get into, man, buying in a hot market and buyers in a hot market. Why is right now still the time to buy?
So, hot market right now, kind of a seller's market we're sitting in right now. Homes are lasting anywhere from, 0 days on the market. As soon as it goes up, they're getting offers on it up to, something long on the market. It's considered to be like 5-10 days. You see something on there for 20 or 30 days. You're like, whoa, what's going on with that property? Something like that.
Right.
But really, why the time right now still to buy? People are always worrying about like market crash, things like this. It's prices are going to keep going up, going down. They don't really know what's exactly going on. If we knew exactly what was going on, we'd all be billionaires right now.
Right. Yeah.
So really right now, what you're seeing a lot of is we've already had a few interest rates increases throughout this year so far. So people are seeing, I've seen financial advisors, also a lot of mortgage loan officers that I work with, presidents of different lenders are saying that we're going to see in the high fives and high sixes in interest rates by the end of the year. So to see a 6.5 interest rate would just be crazy. That would be the highest rate I've ever seen. I've only been doing this for about 5 years. But if you can get locked in right now at like a 4.5, that's even golden compared to a 6.5 or 5.75 or something like that. Compared to last year, the beginning of last year, the end of the year before, people were looking at 2.25s. I had a client literally locked in. He had an 800 credit score, locked in on his VA loan at 1.99. Like we're not going to see that again for a long time.
That's disappointing, but yeah, that is the reality of the matter.
So I always try to tell my clients, not here to rush you, not here to push you, but it's also my job to give you all the updated information so you can make an accurate decision and purchasing a home and deciding what direction you want to go and what's good for your family. So if you can get in now, just say like a 4.75 interest rate or, whatever it might be. If you can get in now and by the end of the year, it's a 1.5 more, you just saved a lot of money. Or wait till the end of the year and buy the exact same house for maybe $100, $200, $300, $400 more.
And inventory is only decreasing right now, right?
Correct. I've seen anywhere between 8 and 15,000 homes on the market at a single time for sale. And that's ranging from, a $1 home to a $25 million home here in Jacksonville on the MLS. So what I'm seeing right now is on a good day, you're seeing like 2,500 homes on the market, which is super, super low in the history of the MLS. So if you do a price search from the average American here, let's just say you can afford a 100,000 or 200,000 all the way up to 800,000, that price range. So out of that 2,500 homes, you're only seeing about 300 or 400 homes in that price range from 200,000 to say 800,000. So that inventory is just like low.
And it also sounds like with the Fed's commitment to continue increasing on interest rates, if you're looking to buy and you really know that interest rates are going to continue to rise and increase, then buying sooner rather than later would help your cause of saving money on your average payment and your average home price overall.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Correct. So if you could get in now early before the end of the year, you're obviously going to be better off to keep that lower interest rate, to keep that mortgage payment down what you're looking at.
It's interesting how things change so fast, man. I remember literally this time last year, you helped me refinance on 2 of my mortgages, bringing my interest rates from like 5% down to like 2.25% and 2.5%, which was saving me a couple $100 every month on each mortgage. So it's like, if you're going to buy now or in the next couple months, next year, the sooner you do it is the sooner you have a chance of saving a couple $100 each month on that mortgage payment there.
Right. And what's crazy, you think about it, you're buying a property, let's just throw $250,000, $300,000 out there. and you're paying the mortgage payment at a certain interest rate, which right now, say you're paying your mortgage at an interest rate of 4%, whatever it may be. And then for that same exact house, buying it 6 months later, now your payment's up $250. Like I just threw away $250 a month. I mean, for some people, that's a car payment.
I was gonna say, like, when you talk to your average person, like when you're talking about a couple $100 extra each month, that's an impact. Like
That's huge.
yeah, like that helps out a whole lot. And George, um, finding the right agent, right? You can go and you can find any realtor that's out there. In fact, my current house that I'm in, due to the fact that I'll be relocating soon, I've had numerous realtors and real estate agents come into this property who I've met over the last few days, few weeks. Finding the right agent, man. Why is this so important to find the right agent?
I think one of the reasons is it's finding the right agent and find that someone that's going to work for you, that sees your vision, sees what you want. Not only is just saying, okay, I got to make another sale, and get that commission. But if you put the client first and really take care of them, it's going to come. You really got to make sure you're finding an agent, for one, that has market knowledge, knows what's going on in the area, knows what's going on in the economy, staying on top of interest rates, things like this. Now, I'm not a loan officer, so obviously can't give someone an interest rate or something like that, but it's my job to point them in the right direction on what lender is going to be good for them. Whether, they're using their VA loan, they're going conventional, or they need to go FHA, or they're purchasing out in the country and want to do USDA zero down. It's really important for us to know what lenders are in that industry and working those loans the best, so I can help guide my client to those lenders who can help them and pretty much be 100% efficient on helping them.
Right, because ideally, one of the other points I wanted to make was saving your clients money helps you earn referrals and repeat business.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody wants to save money. Like, hey, George, how can you help me save money? If I choose you, how are you going to save money? I think you just hit on some of those points right there. So I think some listeners will probably rewind that, because like you just hit on some points. But tell me about that, man. Like I could personally speak to some of the things that you've done for me to help me save good amounts of money on real estate deals. But what are those things for the average listener, whether they're a first-time home buyer or someone that's a little bit more experienced in buying, that you can do to help them save money?
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, a big thing is getting them set up with the right lender. Make sure they're with a good loan officer who's responsive, who wants to help that client, who's not so overloaded, they're just another number. So I think step one, getting them set up with the right loan officer who that they're going to take full advantage of that and help them out. So there's kind of step number one. Number two, really see what the client wants and then dial in on that. So for negotiations, really need to get in there, negotiate, especially in a tough market like this, depending on what's going on. Usually when I've been sending in offers, there's been 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've seen 14 offers. And I've been one of those 14 offers on trying to get my client's dream home. And it really depends on how you write that contract, what you have in that contract. So my wife and I work together, and what we've learned, what's really helped, is getting strong binders in, strong earnest money deposits. And that's kind of like the security deposit to hold the house so no one else can buy it when you go under contract. A lot of people are sending in these, $500,000 purchases, and they're like, oh, we just want to do a $2,000 earnest money deposit. Well, when the seller sees that, they're like, well, does this person, and they may have a pre-approval and they're qualified, but how qualified are they really if they can only afford $2,000 for an earnest money deposit? I mean, that really comes into play. So a big recommendation, what I have, is put a large earnest money deposit down just to show them that, hey, I'm a serious buyer. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to get this thing closed. Another big thing that's helped win contracts and things right now is you always want to do inspections on a home. You don't want to test drive a car. You don't want to buy a car without test driving. So what I've noticed to put in the contract is purchasing the property as is with right to inspection. Now, you can always cancel the contract. You have a 10-day inspection period in most contracts, so you can just cancel that, get your earnest money deposit back, still be responsible for the inspections and things like that. But you're not going to lose that money. You're going to get all that money back. That is another way to help win contracts. And when people see that, they're going to accept your offer. Say house is $300,000, you put an offer for say 295, the other person puts an offer for 305. Now with you having the right to inspection, but buying it as is, you're going to save $15,000 because they don't want to deal with asking for a million repairs and things like that. So yeah, you may not be asking for repairs. There might be a few things that you want to fix in the house, things like that. You still had your inspection, but you literally just saved $15,000 because they went with your offer because they didn't want to deal with, the person that put in a $15,000 offer, but they could come in there and ask for, 20,000 in repairs or something. There's one potential way to save some money too.
Absolutely. And I think something you hit on that was important was negotiating and knowing the information that you were just speaking about right there. And I won't go into all the things you've done to help me out, but working with the new home builders and some of the different incentives that new home builders can offer to buyers that buyers might not be aware of if they don't have an experienced realtor that's
right.
Working in their corner.
In terms of negotiations for that, which is important also, is depending on what builders we go to in Jacksonville. I've sold a lot of homes with different builders. So some builders, just with working with me, because I've sold so many homes with that builder, they actually, some builders will say that I'm technically like a VIP agent. So just for them working with me, they're going to get an incentive bonus from the builder to help cover their closing costs, to help buy maybe a refrigerator, washer, dryer, maybe buy down some points to get them a better interest rate. And that's literally just from working with me and walking in the door with me and being able to have that incentive just because I'm a trusted partner in there. And just another thing, just to touch on real quick, it's really important to have an agent when going with new construction to have someone negotiate for you. And I've mentioned that in your podcast before. It's pretty much like going to court without an attorney. So you really want someone in there negotiating for you that's maybe worked with that builder maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 times before and done a lot of deals with them. So they know how the builder works. They have that experience. And with that experience, they're going to be able to help you get the best possible deal and save you the most money.
George, first time home buyer, right? What advice would you give to someone that's buying a home for the first time?
In this market, I mean, it is crazy out there. We talk about this all the time on the phone. I mean, people are going out there trying to buy first-time homes, and now with interest rates going up, first they wanted to keep their mortgage payment at this and only spend $250,000, but now to keep their mortgage payment that exact same, now they can only buy something with $200,000. So right. For these first-time home buyers, I think it's really important to find a good agent that really wants to help them and have that trust, build that trust with that agent to, take that call at 8:00 at night and say, hey, a house just popped on the market and, let's go check this out first thing in the morning. Maybe have to get off work early, but I think you really need to be aggressive in this market as a first-time home buyer because a lot of investors are out there buying these up cash. And, you're a first-time home buyer, you're putting 5% down on a house and the house is beautiful. You and your fiance are out there trying to buy it. And all of a sudden, an investor's offering full price, cash, close in 5 days. Like, how do you compete with that?
Right.
I mean, you can't compete with that. It's really difficult unless, the homeowner has, a soft heart. It's like, I want to help this new couple out and things like this, maybe play on the heartstrings a little bit, but right. Don't give up, don't ever give up. Keep going. You're going to find some, it's going to take maybe not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tries. You might get the house you want on the 12th or 15th try, but I think it's going to take a little bit longer, but have that patience, have that perseverance to keep going forward, trust that agent, and also understand that, like I said, competing against a cash offer, what can your agent really do besides, hey, put in a large earnest money deposit, we're well qualified, here's the proof of funds, the lender can get this closed in less than 30 days. I mean, it's really competitive out there. So it's important to be aggressive and know exactly what's going on and make sure you're connected with the right agent who's been through this and who really wants to help you.
And I think like when you're buying a home for the first time, it's supposed to be fun. Like you're supposed to enjoy it. If you have a good realtor, someone that you're friendly with, someone that you trust, someone that knows what they're talking about, I think your buying experience becomes a whole lot more fruitful and enjoying throughout the course of the process. I mean, working with you, I have a good realtor in South Florida. She's phenomenal. You guys have made the home buying process very easy. There's been times where I needed you to, George, I'm at work and XYZ needs to be done. Hey, got you, man. I'll take care of that. I know you're having a busy day. Not that you drop the ball and do that for anybody at any given time, but the fact of the matter is that if you're buying a home and you have a realtor that makes the process more enjoyable because their knowledge is good, their professionalism is as high as it gets, they're sharp and they know the industry, there's certain things that'll make your buying experience a much better process than if you went with just some regular person that doesn't really know what they're doing.
Correct. You nailed it right there. It's supposed to be seamless. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It can be nervous. You're spending a lot of money. Usually when you're purchasing a home, this is some of the largest purchases you'll ever make in your entire life. I mean, right. Not every day you go spend $250, $500, $800, $1 million on a piece of property. You don't do that every day. These are the largest purchases people usually make in their life. So in doing that, that can be a little nervous. You're committing for a 30-year, 20-year, 15-year mortgage that you're going to make these payments on time for the next, XYZ years. So it's definitely important to, relax a little bit, enjoy the process, have that open line of communication, follow through.
Selling at the right time. George, when do you advise clients that it might be the right time to sell?
Every individual's situation can be different. You could be relocating, moving for a job like you when you moved out to Little Rock from Amazon here in Jacksonville. You had your townhome here in Tidal Point, David Weekley community, and you're like, yep, I'm moving to Arkansas. So Should we sell or should we rent? At that time, inventory was not even as low as it is now. However, did you need to sell on a financial basis? Like I said, each person's situation is different. Currently you didn't need to sell at that time. So I said, hey, let's shoot for the stars. You're in no rush right now. Let's get a renter in there to cover that mortgage and make a little bit of money on the extra, on the backside. Right. And that's kind of the direction we went with that. So say someone's relocating out of state, they have a house, they need the yard cut. They have a huge yard. They have a big piece of property, they have the irrigation system. They have a well on the property. There's a pool. They have a hot tub, jacuzzi. That's a lot of extra maintenance for the renter, for the owner that you're going to have to deal with for the renter. So you know what? They don't want to deal with anything. They want to kind of wash their hands of that. Maybe it's better for that individual to sell the property, cash out, and go purchase their next home. Whether some people are living in a townhome and relocating, they're living in that townhome. They don't cut the grass. They don't take care of the roof. They don't take out their trash. They have the trash vendors that come and pick up that at their door. I mean, they really don't have any maintenance they do on that property. And it's pretty kind of turnkey. If you had a renter in there, the HOA takes care of everything. Maybe it's best for that person to rent that out, make a little bit of extra income and kind of hold that property and let it keep building equity.
Turnkey. I like that word. And evaluate, right? Evaluate, man. Yeah, you're right, man. Selling that property most recently down in Florida with you. No, I didn't really need to do it. And making extra cash, increasing cash flow each month. Good choice. It was the right choice right there. But like you said, there's situations where you might think the market's at an all-time high. Maybe it is the right time to sell based on these circumstances that you have coming up. So I like that you're focused on the evaluation of the individual's decision-making and what they actually have going on in the current moment right there.
It's important to lay out for the clients all their different options. They just don't have one option. There's multiple different options they have. And it's my job to really explain every single option they have, what works for them, what works for their budget, what works for their family financially, to help guide them in the right direction, what's going to be most beneficial to them at that time.
Which is the difference between a pushy salesman and a salesman that's already making enough money, a salesman that's already doing well, a salesman that's there to teach someone the right way to go about buying. And then because I'll show you the right way, you'll give me your referrals and your repeat business moving forward.
Well said. Perfect. Yeah. It's my job to give you all those options so you can make the best decision for you and your family.
It's funny because as I get ready to relocate to Atlanta and I put my information in Zillow, there's certain realtors that'll reach out to me where I'm like, wow, good realtor, not pushy, not desperate, just trying to talk to me and, understand who I am. And there's others who are like, when can you come out here so I can show you this property? Or like, are you approved for a loan? Like, man, this is just Zillow. Like, just
Right. Take it easy.
yeah, man, just relax. George, a point that you had recently that I wanted you to elaborate on a little bit more. Leveraging your sale and purchasing, example, upswing and using your current equity. What did you mean by that?
So when I was explaining that to you, I was actually using an example from a client that I'm working with right now. So I helped them purchase a new construction home about, I would say, 27 months ago, 28 months ago. It was a new construction D.R. Horton home. They purchased it for a certain amount, and they went and looked at a few new homes. They wanted to kind of get into another new construction, wanted to upsize, get another bedroom, wanted a 3-car garage. So we knew he wanted to sell that home. We looked around some new construction, see what would work for them. And then we talked about getting his home in the market and things like this. So he wanted to keep his mortgage payment, not more than what it is right now. And I was kind of going over a few things with him. And to keep his mortgage payment the same, we were going to have to buy a less expensive house than what he was in. I mean, there was just no way with the interest rates right now. I mean, locking it at a 4.5 compared to your 2.25, you're like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. So after all said and done, we're under contract with his house right now. So after, paying me to list the house, the closing costs, the prepaids, things like that, he's walking away with about $125,000 cash. So for 27 months, walking away with $127,000 cash in your pocket, no capital gains tax. You lived in the home for the past 2 years. So you're not paying taxes on any of that money right there, which is—
Oh, a realtor. Otherwise you might not know that information. Yeah.
Correct. Right. So he literally thought he was paying what tax bracket? He thought he was paying 18% of all that to taxes. And then I put him in the right direction. I sent him a couple different accountants' informations to look at. He called, had a few discussions. He felt a little more comfortable. So gave him all the options. We had the investor get under contract with the house. We know exactly what he's walking away with through the title company. I had the title company and the attorney send over an exact estimate of, if we close on this date, how much money he'll be walking away with. He's a real numbers guy. So it's my job to make sure I give him all that information so he knows exactly what's going on, how much he's making, and where all the monies are going. It's really important for him. So I try to do that for him and also all my other clients. So what we went over is we found the perfect house he wanted. Him, his wife, his granddaughter, they loved the house. They wanted the house. But it was about $300 more a month than what they were comfortable with. And he's using his VA loan. He's putting zero monies down. Now, don't forget, he has about, let's just say $125,000, right? Because it was 120 something what he was making from his sale. So he was like, George, this is $300 more. This isn't what— really don't want to go this high. And I was like, well, we can go look at other stuff. He's like, you can't get anything else that size for less than that. We looked at every single new construction option. He only wants new construction. So what we did was we sat down, we went over all the funds that he has from his current sale, what he's going to get, how much this current price is. And he's telling me, he's like, I'm only going to be here 3 years max. He wants to go get another house somewhere, bigger on a big piece of land, have something custom built, get a custom build for it. So I was like, sir, you're only going to be here for 3 years. Let's look at it like this. Let's break this down. $300 per month, all right? Let's break it down really quick. So at $300 extra per month, he's making $127,000. So 300 times 12 equals, that's $3,600 a year. So he's paying about $3,600 a year extra if he was going to buy this property. Now let's just say 3 years times 3. That's $10,800. I was explaining, sir, if you really want this house, this is something that you're comfortable with, we can go look at other stuff. This is kind of the only option out here. So what he decided to do, he's like, well, George, I have $127,000. I said, yeah. So listen, what we can do is we can literally take $10,800 of that, have it in a, quote unquote separate account, put that aside, use that to subsidize your, let's just say $2,000 a month payment. Now we're at $2,300. This $10,000 for the next 3 years is covering that. So now he has $119,000 still cash that's not dedicated to something else. keeping his mortgage payment exactly the way he wants, utilizing those proceeds from his first sale to help him get exactly what he wanted on his second sale. He's only going to be there 3 years. He's using that $10,800 to cover, make up the difference of that mortgage payment where he wants to be at. And he's like, George, we should have done this sooner. Come on. So it's good to help explain all the different options and give different examples of how it might work to help a client. There's more than one ways to help a client, and you got to kind of really explain all those options to make sure they understand you don't just have one option. You have option A, B, C, D, and E. And it's my job to make sure, they understand that and step them through that process.
It is, man. And it goes back to you working with people on all the different options that you have on the table. I think I was so set in 2019 on buying a secondary home that came with a pool. That was my goal. That's what I wanted.
I remember looking at that one. It was pretty rough looking.
You sent me some, man. And I'm like, you know what? Like, you walk through the insides of these secondary homes. Sometimes they don't smell good. Other times you look at the AC unit and you're like, it doesn't really look all that good. And then you showed me some other options and they ended up becoming much better routes. So I think, you educating folks and showing people the different options that might be on the table can help get people towards where it is that they actually want to be in the real estate market in a faster time frame than choosing the wrong outcome and being like, damn, now I'm not really stuck with this, but I'm going to have to get out of this option that I just put myself into.
Right. And I've experienced that from the time I've been in real estate. I would say all my clients who have purchased new construction, not saying you can't do a secondaries, but all my clients that I've sold houses for new construction versus secondary homes that have already been built that I helped them buy, and then I'm reselling them. All my new construction clients have made more money than my secondary clients on the new construction. And we've talked about this, getting in the new construction at the right time and things like this. They've made more money and been able to capitalize on that equity growth in the new construction versus that secondary market.
Yeah, we actually have podcasts like specifically on that right there.
And put a link to that podcast in the description to help them get to that too.
Will do. I from someone that's bought secondary and that's bought new construction. The only reason I've actually bought secondary thus far has been because they're duplexes. That's been the only reason. New construction is tough to find duplexes in. But regardless, either way, my choice would be to lean towards and to go with new construction, man. It's like buying a new car versus a used car. The used car is not going to break. And when you're in the housing market, they're not like cars. Your houses appreciate.
Right.
So like the new houses, not only do you have no maintenance with them, there's warranties that back them up, and then they appreciate as well too. So I completely agree with you on the new home construction side. Although, I mean, in certain circumstances, going secondary, like there's benefits to secondary. But
right.
Looking at the current state of new construction, George, talk to me about what you know about. Obviously, you know Florida inside and out, and then what you might know about the rest of the country. But talk to me about the current state of new construction right now.
Okay, we'll go and start with Florida and narrow it down to Jacksonville here. And, this is kind of safe to say throughout the whole country, throughout the state, things like this, maybe not on a larger scale. However, Jacksonville is one of the top markets in the entire country right now. Jacksonville, Florida is. So in today's market in Jacksonville compared to a few years ago, I mean, new construction, you used to be able to walk in 2019 in new construction and have 10 different homes in that new construction community that are finished and ready to go buy and move into in 30 days and close. Right now, you can't even get into a new construction home to get under contract. You have to get usually on a waiting list right now just to go under contract if that builder is not taking offers. A lot of builders are taking offers right now, and it's just really difficult to get locked in.
Disappointing. As a buyer, it's disappointing to me because I used to like being able to see, I could get this new home, or this new home. Let me go home and sleep on it. Now, like you said, you can't do that anymore.
Right. Yeah. The inventory is super low. Right now, what I'm experiencing right now, I mean, I'm here in my office right now, just looking up at my board with the new construction. I have, about 15 new construction homes under contract right now with my clients. And I have some closing in October, November, and December. So they haven't even started building the house yet. And we just had to get under contract. They just released those lots in the neighborhood. So we got under contract. and it's tough out there. No one's really, unless a home falls off the market or someone there's a cancellation or something like that, which is it's important right now to look out for. However, there's not a lot of homes in new construction that you can just walk in and, oh, that's new, be ready in 30 days, I'm ready to close. You're looking 6, 7, 8, 9 months out, and some builders are 12 and 14 months out, depending on the size of the home. It's tough.
It's fascinating because, like you said, just a few years ago, you could go view the home, know you have a couple days, weeks before you could buy the home, get incentives put in, washer, dryers, you name it, the builder are at it. You're not really getting that right now, man. The new construction ball game has changed a lot in just a few years.
Oh yeah, a lot of less incentives out there. However, some builders are still, if you use their preferred lender, they're going to cover all your closing costs, give you a credit for your prepaids. Depending on the builder and the property, you can get all your appliances, refrigerator, washer, dryer. Hey, if you buy at this time frame before the end of the month, and the reason they say before the end of the month, because a lot of these builders are publicly traded on the stock market. So before the end of the quarter, they want to get so many closed or get so many under contract. So, hey, we'll give you a screening closure, or we'll give you a refrigerator, washer, dryer, or we'll give you a rate buy down right now if you go under contract. So, and it's always important for us to make sure we know what's going on with every single builder so we can find out what's a good fit for that client.
George, it sounds like your thoughts on interest rates are pretty consistent going forward. I mean, it looks like they're rising, they're going up. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to believe that they'll be turning back over the next 1 to 2 years, right?
Right. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of things that everyone else is seeing. I may be following up on it and looking at it a little more. However, what we've all seen right now on the news and different releases, I mean, rates are going up, and we're already starting to see that with a couple rate increases that we've already had. I mean, just last week, I had a client under contract, and we were literally locked them in for like a 5.25. I was just like, a 5.25. I mean, in the beginning of 2019, there was a, spike in rates, and I had someone at like 5.25, 4.99. But now to see that against, like, this is a little scary to see, a 5.25 interest rate or something, or in the fives. Do I think it'll level off with time? Yeah, I do. And what you can really hope for right now, if you're getting in, say, best rate you can get is a 5%, hopefully within the next year or two, rates drop down again, and you can do that refinance and get your rate back lower and drop that monthly mortgage payment.
A lot of people recently didn't refinance when they had the opportunity to refinance.
Believe me, they're crying now.
Missed out on a lot of money, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really glad I bought or built my house and closed on it end of 2019. And I believe I started off with like a 4% interest rate. That's what I think I started with. And then when I did my refinance, I'm in the 2s.
Yeah.
So
last point for you, man. And I appreciate your time and you coming on here. You're not just somebody that just goes out and you're just a real estate agent all day. You spend a lot of time traveling, thinking about other businesses. Talk to me real briefly, 30 seconds on some of the mindsets of George Blum as he thinks about life and going about his future years in the future, man.
So right now, I'm working on a few different investment properties right now. I mean, believe me, I love what I do. I love helping people get into a home. To be able to help someone purchase a home and kind of hand someone the keys to their American dream, I mean, that's super rewarding. I love what I do. I enjoy it. My wife and I get to work together. We're a team, husband and wife team. We help a lot of families out there, and we truly enjoy doing that. However, I love being creative. I love looking at different properties and see how I can make money doing other ways, generate other income streams. I love the Airbnb game. You and I have done a few together. It's a nice little side income, almost kind of like a side hustle. This is my primary thing, being a real estate agent here in Jacksonville and relocation. But I like the Airbnb game. I think that's a good move to make right now, getting in investment properties and doing the short-term rentals. That's been successful for my wife and I, and also for you. You and I have done something that have been really successful and even better than we thought. We estimated our highs and our lows, and we even passed our highs. So after, experiencing that on the little bit that we did, I was like, okay, I think I need to take this to the next level. So I'm under contract right now with a construction of a house. It was built in 2002 and needs a bunch of rehab right now, but comes with 2.5 acres. It's on a nice, beautiful property, and going to go develop that and get that going. That's going to be a 90-day process. I've talked to the construction crew up there, and I'm going to get it on for short-term rentals. Not a lot of Airbnbs in that area. It's close to some other recreational areas, and really excited to get that going. And my goal is to get these rental properties, however it may take, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending, and have that replace my income to cover all my expenses. First step is to cover all expenses. Second step is to replace my income. So I can do that. I can keep doing what I'm doing, but I have that option where it's covering both.
And George, briefly, keeping those the creative mindset going, keeping the motivation going. Not everybody is as locked into that as you are. Not everybody's able to be motivated and stay driven throughout the course of the day. What are some of the things that go on in your life that help you stay motivated, driven, and goal-oriented throughout the course of the day so that you can go out and do some of these things that you're looking? What kind of advice do you give to people that want to find that motivation and drive?
So wake up every day, be grateful, and know that you're not just locked in or trapped in what you are right now. I don't always have to be a real estate agent. I think I enjoy sales. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy networking. So I'm trying not to always say, hey, I'm stuck in this routine doing this. I want to always grow and expand, and no failure is an option. I mean, what did Elon Musk? He failed a million times before he got Tesla and other things like that. I mean, go into it for success. Know you can fail, but know if you do fail, get back up on your feet, keep trying. Lots of people fail, but don't let that scare you from trying something new, for adventuring out, for possibly setting another career up where you can even generate more time for you and your family, make more income, things like that. But no risk, no reward is how I kind of look at it. And I enjoy this. I love what I do, like I said, but also love making money. I enjoy that. It provides a great lifestyle for myself and my wife. We love traveling. We travel to Europe a few times a year, go to Bulgaria, go down to Greece, went to Amsterdam, London, Germany. I mean, we love to travel. And with doing this Airbnb business, this really opens up the doors for us to be, I don't want to say full-time travelers, but really be 100% virtual. And that's kind of the end goal, is I want to be 100% virtual.
Not being scared of failures. I mean, it's interesting how close sometimes we can all get to failing or being in a failure state, or just going through failures over and over again before we actually hit that successful mark where we start actually going after our goals and dreams. I like how you touched on that right there. Right. I think just about everybody can probably relate to that. George, man, you've been on this podcast numerous times. It's always a pleasure. You're always welcome back on. Love the wisdom, value, and knowledge that you share. So thank you very much.
Much appreciated, Bobby. Have a good night.